This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. So I check in on Jerry Parker's Twitter feed every now and again. Jerry Parker, the most successful turtle trader that is. Jerry's appeared on this podcast many times. I am due to invite him again. I should do that soon. But I caught this tweet of his, and to quote, and he's quoting somebody else, but still Jerry is a very good curator. So if you want to have that trend following insight perspective, Jerry is very good at curating, and he's subtle about it. You kind of got to know what trend following is to fully appreciate Jerry's Twitter feed. But the quote, it's not an argument about being bullish or bearish, but about not needing to have a market opinion. Automating your investments frees you from the shackles of worrying about what the market does next. 2020 showed that predicting the future is impossible, end quote. That simple little comment is the reason I have sold hundreds of thousands of books. Now, Jerry makes it sound simple, and it is simple if you understand from the perspective from which he writes, from the perspective from which he is quoting. There's not one fucking person on this planet that could predict the first 6 months of 2020. And anyone that does say that they could, that's the filter for knowing that that person is full of shit. I mean, seriously. Corona, lockdowns, riots. This is off the hook, off the charts. A massive March meltdown, a V rocket back up. This market action is like Hollywood screenwriter stuff. I mean, it's almost comedy. And there is only one strategy on the planet that can possibly put you into a position to benefit from this much volatility and this much chaos and this much who knows what comes next, because nobody knows what's coming next. You can have all of your opinions on Trump or Obama or Biden and Pelosi, on whoever. You can believe in riots or not believe in riots. You can like the police, you can hate the police. You can love your government, you can hate your government. You can hate yourself. Literally, you can hate yourself, but as long as you have a system, even if you're a self-hating miscreant that just can't stand yourself, if you've got a system with rules that says, I'm going to follow the damn trend, whichever way it goes, and I'm going to get out when it goes the other direction, you can do all right. You can be okay. You can protect yourself. You can put yourself in a position to perhaps make some money. Now I can see the other side coming back at me and saying, but Mike, 2020 was the greatest example of why buy and hold works. Okay, you can say that. But what proof are you using? What's happened in the last couple months could have gone the entirely other direction. We could have seen a meltdown where the Dow went down another 50%. Then what are you saying? Are you saying you just believe the Fed has always got your back? There will always be a government backstop? Fair argument, fair point. It's looked that way for a long time. Do you want to live your life betting like that? Do you want your family, your assets, your wealth, your livelihood only exposed to Fed protection? If the Fed protects you, then you're okay. No decision making on your part. Just trust the Fed. If the Fed can save you, then you're okay. If the Fed doesn't save you, you're fucking dead. I don't like that strategy. I like the strategy of saying, I don't know what the hell the Fed's going to do. You don't either. I don't know what market's going to take off next. You don't either. But you can be ready, and you can react, and you can say to yourself, the objective is not to get in at the bottom of some move. The objective is to get into the move at some point, hopefully early, and get out late. What do I mean, get out late? Why can't you get out at the top? Come on. You're not getting out at the top. All these charts and graphics and idiots all over social media that draw these market charts where right at the bottom of the move you get in and right at the top you get out. People believe it though. I mean, there's untold books about this. Untold. So many, literally going back 100 years. I've gone through so many market books, literally going back hundreds of years. And there are some great books if you go back hundreds of years. There are dozens of market psychology books, trend following mindset. You can find from the 1800s, the early 1900s. They don't call it trend following. They didn't have a common term, but that's what it is. And so people that I've never heard of, brilliant minds, brilliant writers, brilliant market strategists, brilliant market traders, they've had this stuff figured out for a long time. Now it gets lost in history. And now we're at a moment of social media and nonstop media 24/7. And now we're in the moment of the mob where most people today take their information not from a thoughtful sit down. Most people today take their information from fear or they feel threatened. And that's how they make decisions. If you're making any decision in your life, I don't care what that decision is, because you're afraid or you're threatened, you're in trouble. Now, don't get me wrong. If the train is coming down the tracks and you're sitting there and you don't feel threatened, we know what's going to happen. But for most of our lives, it's just shown time and time again. Running through your life script as a fearful person, as a person unable to make decisions, as a person trying to please others nonstop, it's not going to work. I mean, look, let's just go big picture for a second. And I can sound redundant when I go here. You have to know what markets you're going to trade. You have to know how much you're going to trade each trade. Are you going to bet 1% per trade, 5%, 10%? When are you going to enter? When are you going to exit with a loss? And when are you going to exit with a gain? One of the favorite criticisms of my books, oh, Mike doesn't give the exact strategy. He's not showing me the secret sauce. Now, of course, the people that kind of get how the world works realize that the secret sauce is all over my books. Because once you have the rules down, it's all in the mind. I mean, that's the reason that my newest edition of Trend Following is so damn big, is because I want it to be so comprehensive, to give every vantage, every angle that you could possibly look at the philosophical tenets of trend following. No stone unturned. That when you walked away, you would say, okay, I understand trend following now. It's not for me. Or, I understand trend following, and it is for me. But I didn't want people to say, oh, there's some squishy subjective thing that I don't get. No. I mean, look at March 2020. Trend followers made a ton of money in March 2020. Because when the world goes to shit, hell in a handbasket, a strategy that is predicated on unforeseen momentum always benefits. Always. Now, I just said always twice. That's probably the kiss of death. There's no guarantees in life. I mean, we could all get the dinosaur asteroid freaking tomorrow, right? That great line that Salem Abraham had in my film years back. You can't predict the asteroid. That shit can just come out of nowhere and you are DOA, right? But you can be prepared. You can get yourself a system. You can get yourself an approach. I mean, it kind of works for life too, the trend following mindset. You can't predict where the relationship is going to come from. You got to try. You got to try to meet people. And you're going to get some duds. If you're not getting any duds, you're probably just settling. And this gets back to the Larry Height dating story that he put in my film. His buddy who would randomly ask out 10 hot women on the streets of New York City. And maybe one of them would say yes to coffee. And then when you got 10 of those one of those 10 might progress to something further. I've had many guests on my podcast recently where you can see this venture capital mindset, this trend following mindset when it comes to innovation. Innovation is not smart people in a room dreaming up one thing. Innovation is trying a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff failing, and then you end up with one rocket ship that you get on that you never could have predicted. Trend following 101. But we're in a day and age where there's not a lot of thinking going on as far as I can tell. People that I respect, people that I know, people that I don't know. A lot of screaming. Yeah, I might occasionally drop some F-bombs on this podcast, and I have no problem saying shit. But I think, and I listen, and I try to take in a lot of information. And I don't wake up each day and say to myself, oh my God, what's the mob saying for me to do? I must do what the mob says to do. Now, from a trend following perspective, from a market perspective, if the mob is moving the market in a direction, hey, let's go with it. But you can't run your life that way. Not every day. You're going to burn out. I love doing this podcast because it keeps me grounded with the big thinkers. It keeps me away from just the constant emotion of the day. I can't imagine folks that use social media so much that they're glued to it in the sense that they can even wake up at night from it. They feel that desire to be connected all the time. Look, you're probably not going to agree with half the people on the planet as a starting line. And let's also face it, with social media, most people don't change anymore. There's no persuasion. People either get you and get what you are about, or they don't. That's just life. In a way, it's sad that we can't have reasonable conversations and win people over to better perspectives. But I think that time has passed. All we can do is put a message out and find an audience that likes our message. That's it. Frankly, it's a little too dangerous to try and push a message down anyone's throat. I mean, all you have to do is turn the TV on in the last couple of weeks and realize that it's a different time. It's not yesterday anymore. It's today. And today is different. That's my perspective on the personal that's happening right now. But back to that big picture from Jerry Parker. It's not about the bullish or the bearish. You just can't know. And if you think you can know, and you still don't care about my words, and my words are actually rooted in a hell of a lot of research, a hell of a lot of interviews. So if you immediately dismiss my words, I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep. But it's not wise on your part. I mean, if you go through my books, there are so many interesting names, so many smart people. It's a Google celebration, meaning if you go through my books and just start Googling names in my trend following book, like almost every name in there serves a purpose. They take you down a path of learning, a path of education. Even if you've never heard of some of these names, trust me, pick up the laptop one day and just start Googling. You're going to walk away with the same kind of insight that I'm passing along from Jerry Parker today. And it'll be from another name that you've never heard of. Now, you've probably heard of Jerry. He's become quite prolific and is all over the internet now. But there's a lot of other names that you've never heard of. Really, really smart people. There is no time like now. Now is the time. Don't sit around and wait. We've already seen the first 6 months of 2020. Could the next 6 months be easy breezy or more crazy than the prior 6 months? I don't know. But it sure does seem like that with social media and with so many people on so many different sides of the aisle whipped into a frenzy, we're probably going to have a lot more chaos as time rolls on. And if we're going to have chaos, read market volatility. Damn it, get your trend following on.
I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.